You probably spent your morning being pinged and tracked by a device you pay for every month. It is not just a phone anymore. It is a digital leash around your neck. Big tech giants know exactly where you are sitting. They know what you are buying. They might even know what you are thinking before you do it. It feels like the modern world has turned into a giant open-air prison with high-speed Wi-Fi and zero privacy. But imagine a place where the signal simply dies, a physical blackout zone where the bars on your screen stay at zero legally. We are talking about places where the law actually forbids the digital noise of the modern world. We found 10 locations where your smartphone is just an expensive glass paperweight. A reality check is needed here before you decide to disappear forever. No signal means no 911 service. It means no DoorDash and no streaming movies at midnight. You will be back in the 1960s with a shortwave radio and a paper map. But for the right man, that kind of silence is the most expensive luxury left in America. Number 10. Snowshoe, West Virginia. This is a very strange place to start because it is a world-class ski resort. It has luxury lodges and expensive restaurants for the elite, but it sits squarely inside the National Radio Quiet Zone. This is a 13,000 square mile area where radio transmissions are strictly limited by federal law. Because of the massive telescope nearby, Snowshoe has almost zero cell service on the mountain. You see people in $800 ski jackets wandering around looking for a signal like lost ghosts. They can't find one and they start to panic. You can find small condos or older cabins nearby for around $85,000. The draw here is the resort-style disconnect from the system. You have all the amenities of a city but the digital silence of the 1800s. The local culture is a mix of wealthy tourists and rugged locals who laugh at them. People here still use landlines and they pay with cold hard cash. Here's the part Zillow does not show you in the glossy photos. The terrain is vertical and the weather is completely unpredictable. If you get stuck in a snowbank, you aren't calling a tow truck from your heated seat. You are walking to the nearest lodge in the dark. You will spend your evening staring at a wood fire instead of a glowing screen. It is a place for the man who wants a soft exit from the surveillance system. You can have a burger and a beer without a single notification interrupting your thoughts. You have to be comfortable with the fact that no one can find you unless you want them to. If this resort life feels too crowded, wait until we head to the desert dunes where the signal is killed by the sand and the relentless sun. Number 9. Niland, California. This is the official gateway to Slab City and the Salton Sea. It is a landscape of cracked earth and abandoned American dreams. Niland is where the power grid starts to fray at the very edges. Because of the geography and the lack of infrastructure, cell service is a rare and fleeting thing. You can buy a small, weather-beaten house here for under $40,000 today. The draw is the absolute lack of digital pressure on your brain. You are living in a place that the state of California has effectively forgotten about. The local culture is pure survivalism mixed with desert art. Your neighbors are people who decided that modern society was a failed experiment. They live in trailers, buses, and shacks made of reclaimed timber and pallets. Nobody is tracking your location because there are no towers to do the tracking. Picture yourself sitting on a porch with a cold beer, watching the heat waves ripple over the Salton Sea. Your phone is in a kitchen drawer and it has been dead for 3 days. You finally feel like your thoughts belong to you again. The catch here is the extreme and hostile environment. Niland is often 120 degrees in the peak of summer. The air smells like salt and rotting fish from the receding sea. The local economy is a total ghost. You better bring your own income and a very reliable air conditioner. You will be dealing with dust storms that turn the sky brown. You will be cleaning your solar panels every single morning. It is not a place for the weak or the unprepared, but it is a place where the digital world simply cannot reach you. If this desert heat is too much, the next spot on our list is a mountain valley in New Mexico, where the rock walls are the ultimate signal blockers. Number 8. Catron County, New Mexico. We have been to this county before for the land prices, but the signal situation is the real story. This is the largest county in the state, and it is mostly vertical rock and canyon. The massive walls of stone act like physical shields against cell towers and satellites. In many parts of the Gila wilderness, you can hike for 3 days and never see a single bar on your phone. You can find 20-acre parcels here for around $45,000. The draw is the mountain man privacy and the lack of oversight. You are living among the elk, the bears, and the massive ponderosa pines. The local government values land rights and independence more than 5G connectivity. The local culture is old-school ranching and rugged self-reliance. People here still communicate with old CB radios and wood smoke signals. Be honest with yourself. Would you rather have a 5G tower in your backyard or a view of the Mogollon Rim in total silence? If you chose the mountains, you better be ready for the real-world trade-off. Catron County is one of the most isolated places in the lower 48. You are a 2-hour drive from a real grocery store with fresh produce. If your truck breaks down, you are your own mechanic and your own rescue team. The winters are cold and the snow can trap you in your hollow for weeks. You will be splitting wood for 10 hours a week just to stay warm. You will be monitoring your battery voltage like a hawk. But you will be an untraceable shadow in a world full of digital fingerprints. If you think these mountains are lonely, wait until we head to the Nevada Great Basin where the horizon is the only thing you can see. Number 7. Humboldt County, Nevada. This is the absolute heart of the Big Empty. It is a land of vast sagebrush plains and dry lake beds that look like another planet. Because the population is so sparse, the cell companies simply haven't bothered to build out the network. Once you get 20 miles off the main interstate, the digital world disappears completely. You can buy a 40-acre square of desert here for under $25,000. The draw is the absolute heavy silence of the desert night. You can see for 50 miles in every direction and there isn't a single human structure in sight. You are living in a sensory deprivation tank that you own. The local culture is non-existent because you have no immediate neighbors. It is just you, your gear, and the massive belt of the Milky Way. The night sky is so bright it will make you dizzy if you look up too long. You can finally hear your own heartbeat in the silence. Here is the part Zillow hides from the buyers. The alkaline dust gets into every single thing you own. It will eat the rubber seals on your RV and the lungs in your chest. You will be hauling your own water in 500-gallon tanks on the back of a flatbed truck. The summer heat is brutal and the winter wind is sharp as a razor. You will spend your days fighting the wind to keep your solar panels attached to the roof. If you run out of propane in January, you are in a survival fight for your life. But you will own a piece of the earth where the digital surveillance state has zero jurisdiction. It is a place where a man can finally be a ghost. If this desert is too dry for your blood, the next spot on our list is a corner of Oregon, where the lava rocks kill the signal. Number 6. Klamath County, Oregon. Specifically, we are looking at the high desert fringe near the Sprague River. This is a landscape of black volcanic rock and ancient twisted juniper trees. The geography is rugged and the population is spread very thin. In the remote subdivisions that failed in the 1970s, the cell service is almost non-existent. You can buy a few acres of lava rock here for around $12,000 today. The draw is the outlaw freedom of the high plateau. You are living in a place where the rules are thin and the signal is even thinner. The local culture is a mix of retirees, veterans, and people who just want to be left alone by the taxman. People here respect a man who has his own well and his own massive solar array. You can build a cabin or park a heavy rig and nobody is going to report you for not being connected. Picture yourself waking up to a sun that looks twice as big as it does in the city. There is no traffic, no hum of the grid, and no notifications on your screen. You check your phone and it is still searching for a network that doesn't exist. The catch here is the difficult logistics. The ground is solid volcanic rock, which means a septic system will cost you $20,000 in jackhammer rentals and engineering. The winters are long, gray, and bone-chillingly cold. The loneliness can be a physical weight if you aren't prepared for the isolation. You will spend your days clearing brush to keep the fire risk down. You will be watching your water levels like a financial portfolio. But for the man who wants to exit the rat race and own a piece of the West for pennies, Klamath is the last exit ramp. If you can handle the cold, the next spot is deep in the Michigan woods where the trees themselves act as towers. Number 5. The Upper Peninsula, Michigan. Specifically, we are looking at the remote sections of Luce and Alger counties. This is the Northwoods at its most isolated and beautiful. Millions of acres of state and federal forest act like a giant sponge for radio waves. Once you drop into the deep timber, your smartphone becomes a brick. You can buy a small hunting cabin on 10 acres for around $65,000 here. The draw is the Yooper solitude and the abundance of fresh water. You are surrounded by more deer and black bears than people. The local culture is tough, quiet, and fiercely independent. People here judge you by how much wood you have split for the winter, not your social media profile. You can disappear into the pines and the only thing that will find you is the sound of the wind. Picture yourself in a cabin made of local cedar, listening to the rain on a tin roof. There is zero noise from the modern world. You finally own your own time and your own schedule. The catch here is the legendary and terrifying snow. We are talking about 300 inches in a bad season. You will spend your life shoveling your roof so it doesn't collapse. You will be clearing your driveway with a tractor just to get to the mailbox. The mosquitoes in the summer are a biological weapon. They will find every inch of exposed skin within seconds. You will be living in a world of bug spray and wood smoke. But for a summer escape in a digital blackout zone, the Upper Peninsula is the best-kept secret in the country. If the snow scares you, head back to the Texas border where the limestone walls kill the signal for good. Number 4. Big Bend, Texas. We are looking at the unincorporated desert stretches of Brewster and Presidio counties. This is a region the size of a small country with the population of a single high school. The massive limestone mountains and deep, jagged canyons create physical dead zones that are legendary among travelers. In many parts of the Terlingua Ranch, you have to drive 10 miles just to get a single bar of service. You can buy a rugged 20-acre plot here for around $18,000. The draw is the Old West majesty and the absolute scale. You have the clearest night skies in the lower 48 and the absolute sovereignty of the high desert. The local culture is a mix of desert rats, veterans, and people who have completely checked out of the digital grid. There is zero light pollution and zero digital noise. You are living in a time capsule from 150 years ago. Picture yourself sitting on a porch you built yourself, watching the sunrise over the Chisos Mountains. You finally understand what real freedom feels like when your phone doesn't ring. But here is where the desert sends you the bill. Water is more precious than gold or fuel out here. You will spend your life hauling 500-gallon tanks on a trailer. The summer heat is a physical weight on your chest that doesn't lift until October. You have to be your own plumber and your own mechanic. If your truck breaks down in a dead zone, you are in a survival situation. You better have a reliable spare tire and a lot of extra water. But you are on firm legal ground because the desert is too big for the system to monitor. You finally own the horizon and nothing else. Number 3. The Maine Northwoods. This is the largest area of unorganized land in the eastern United States. It is a region bigger than several small states combined into one. There is no local government here, and almost zero cell service once you leave the main logging roads. The trees are so thick and the terrain is so rugged that the signals just don't penetrate the canopy. You can buy 40 acres of deep forest and lakefront for around $75,000. The draw is the deep timber freedom and the sense of history. You are surrounded by millions of acres of working forest and some of the best hunting on the planet. The local culture is non-existent because there are no actual towns. Your neighbors are loggers, guides, and people who truly do not want to be found. You can build a cabin and call it a fortress of solitude. Picture yourself on a lake at dawn, with the mist rising off the water and a loon calling in the distance. There is no signal, no noise, and no one to tell you what to do. The catch here is the total lack of every modern human convenience. There is no 911 service and no ambulance. If you have a fire, you are the fire department. Most of the roads are private logging paths and require a permit to use. In the winter, the snow is measured in feet and it stays until May. You will be spending $2,000 a month just to keep your wood stove fed and your generator running. It is a place for the man who is comfortable being the only person for 20 miles. You are trading your digital connection for a physical connection to the earth. If this is too quiet for you, the next spot on our list is a canyon in Arizona where the mail still comes by mule. Number 2. Supai, Arizona. This is located at the very bottom of the Grand Canyon on the Supai Reservation. It is the most remote community in the lower 48 states. There are no roads to Supai. You get there by helicopter, by foot, or by a long mule train. Because it is 3,000 feet below the rim, the rock walls are the ultimate physical signal blockers. There is effectively zero cell service in the village or the surrounding canyons. You can't just move here and buy a house because it is reservation land. But people live nearby on the rim in unincorporated Coconino County where the signal is almost as dead. You can find small cabins or land parcels on the rim for around $55,000. The draw is the sheer epic scale of the land. You are living on the edge of one of the natural wonders of the world. The local culture is rugged, isolated, and very old school. You are hours away from a Walmart or a Target. Your mail comes by a mule train. It is the last place in America where that still happens on a daily basis. Picture yourself sitting on the rim of the canyon at dusk, watching the shadows grow long across the red rock. Your phone is a useless paperweight and you don't care at all. The catch is the logistics of staying alive. Everything you buy has to be hauled in by you over rough terrain. The water is deep and the drilling for a well is an expensive gamble. The heat on the rim in July will melt the tires off your truck. But you are living in a place that is too grand and too deep for the digital state to manage. If even the Grand Canyon feels too known for you, there is one place left where the silence is enforced by the power of federal law. Number 1. Green Bank, West Virginia. This is the holy grail of the analog sanctuaries. It is the home of the Green Bank Observatory and the world's largest steerable radio telescope. Because the telescope is so sensitive it can hear a cell phone on Mars, the surrounding area is a national radio quiet zone. In the town of Green Bank, Wi-Fi is literally illegal to operate. Cell towers are banned by the government. Even certain types of microwave ovens are restricted because they interfere with the science. It is the only place in America where the digital blackout is enforced by the federal government. You can buy a solid brick house on a few acres here for around $125,000. The draw is the absolute, guaranteed silence of the air. You are living in a time capsule where the 1950s never really ended. Children play outside instead of staring at tablets in a dark room. People actually talk to their neighbors over the fence. The local culture is quiet, polite, and very private. It is the ultimate escape hatch for the man who is tired of the surveillance state and the constant noise. Picture yourself waking up in a town where the air is clean of radio waves. You finally feel the static in your brain disappear. The catch is the time machine reality of your life. There is no nightlife and no entertainment. There is no high-speed internet unless you have a rare hard-wired fiber line. You will be using a landline and a paper calendar on the wall. The nearest major shopping center is a long drive over winding mountain roads that are dangerous in the rain. If you are a person who needs to be connected to survive, Green Bank will feel like a beautiful prison. But if you are a man who has decided that the modern world is a failure, it is the only sanctuary left. Out here, the silence isn't empty. It is full of the kind of freedom that most people will never even have the courage to imagine. You don't just own land here, you finally own your own mind again.